Hello and welcome. We're just going to spend some time here waiting for people to come on. Please say hello when if you're on board. Oh, hi Larry. Nice to see you from London, Ontario. Dusty Rose, nice to meet you. I'm competing with the Super Bowl today, so I don't know how many folks will have live. Hey, good morning, Lois. But that's okay. It's here on Facebook. Oh, Rondeline, is that you? Code name. Dusty Rose, that's funny. Nice to see you. I'm excited to be with you guys in a new year and a new decade. Well, new decade, wrong, but a new Chinese year and lots of new energies to talk about. Maya, nice to see you. I think about you as I look in the mirror at my eyebrows. I hope you're well. Hello, Louise. Bonjour. Nice to see you. "2020 was really long." Yeah, it does feel like it was 10 years. Yes. What did it teach you? Like that's the thing too, right? Is it um, the energy slowed down for a reason, right? To bring to us what we need to see. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes and then I'm going to get started. And I know many people watch this later back afterwards, but it's nice to get some people here and some conversation. And so afterwards too, I'll stay on for questions. So if you have questions that come up along the way, and I'll do my best to sort of see them as I'm talking, but um, uh, I'm not always the best at that. So yeah, it's a really the energy right now is just really interesting. We're sort of in that in between the tide is going out from the end of last year to the tide is coming in for the beginning of next year. And so if you're feeling unsettled and kind of here in Vancouver, it's been warm. I know on the prairies it's super cold right now. It's like minus 25 in Edmonton. If not in the 30s, minus 30s. But here with the longer days, and that I already noticed that it's starting to feel like, I can feel the chi shifting, but it does not feel stable. I just sort of feel, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting word, energetically. It's like I don't feel like 2020 has quite ended and I don't feel like 2021 has quite started. Minus 35, oh my goodness, yeah, that's cold. It's a beautiful day here in Vancouver. It's chilly though. It's +6, but still beautiful. Okay, I am going to get started here. Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for taking your time out today to be here with me this morning, and thank you to all of you who watch this later. And so it's the month of the metal tiger, the year of the metal ox. In tarot, we're in the year number 5, and in tarot, we're in the month number 6. And there's so many different ways. I think there's 6 planets in Aquarius right now. Like the whole overall energy, I talked about this last month as well, is it's like revolution, revelation, resolution, and reform. Like there's so many things going on. It's not just a new year that's begun with the Chinese calendar. It's in many ways a new beginning and a whole new energetic era on Earth. And we made it through 2020. Doesn't for many people feel like it, but it's also, I do feel it though, but it's also, if you don't feel it, it's actually still that there's lessons to learn and to look at, right? So astrologically, we entered the new year of the metal ox on February 3rd with the solar new year, but we actually celebrate it with the lunar new year on February 12th. So if you're confused as to actually what's going on, that's a little bit why we're in this melting point of, it's like new and old. And so the energy, the Chinese would not start any new big ventures during this time because the qi just isn't stable. But what's happening now as we enter into the month of the tigers, we're entering into 3 months of wood qi, okay? And so if you don't know exactly what qi is, it's a word, a very broad word for energy. Qi is invisible, but we all need it because qi is energy, right? And so kind of it's a thing, the person with the most qi wins, right? They have more energy, they have better, they're more vibrant, they get more opportunities. And so qi is not about, hello Ahmad, qi is not about having the most beautiful place. Qi is, like, people will often say to me, what do you think about my house? Does it have good feng shui? How's the qi? And my question always then is, how's your life? How are you feeling? How, you know, how are opportunities coming your way? Do you feel energized? And what I love about the Chinese calendar is that it actually teaches us through the 5 elements what type of qi is present now. And so right now with wood qi rising, it means the beginning of spring. And this is going on now for the next 3 months. See, in the Chinese calendar, we see the solstices and the equinoxes as the midpoint of the season. We see those days as the point where the qi is strongest. So with wood qi now, it's a good time to do a cleanse, to change your diet, to get rid of the heaviness that we've been eating over the winter, you know. And in the Chinese metaphysics, luck is actually a combination of 3 factors that we call heaven, earth, and man. And all 3 factors have a type of qi. And this is really important because the reason this is called conscious conversations is human qi is a huge contributor to what creates our life. In metaphysics, they say 33%. It's not everything because a seed still needs soil and it still needs rain and it still needs sunshine, and so do we. But we have conscious intention. We can direct the boat. So, we actually create our lives at the end of the day with our thoughts. And because we can determine how we deal with the opportunities that we come along. So astrologically, we've entered the year of the metal ox. And so what does that mean? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to give some predictions in a little bit about what for each day master and for each animal sign that means. If you haven't met me before, and I think all of you here actually have, but some of you coming on later to see this haven't, my name is Marlyna, and I've been working with Feng Shui and Chinese astrology and metaphysics for actually my whole life, but specifically with Chinese metaphysics for about 25 years. And I've studied with 8 Asian masters. I've traveled the world. And really initially just as a hobby because I was so excited by the subject, but over time I became an expert, and now this is my full-time job. Hello, Izzy. And so I love Chinese metaphysics, and I'm really happy to be here with you, to share with you, to create community and connection, and most importantly, tips that you can use to improve your life. Why is astrology and metaphysics so important? Because everything is energy, everything. And so space and time, they have energy signatures. And quantum physics proves this to us as well. I love 5-element theory because it actually describes how energy works. And if you actually understand, like I was just saying, this is wood qi, then you change your diet, you can change your behaviors, you can change, like, if we know that it's wood chi, a lot of seeds get planted and started indoors or outdoors because that's the energy of what's going on now, right? And so by understanding energy, I can align my actions and behaviors to be in flow with the cosmos, to be in flow with nature, to be connected. And by understanding the energy blueprint that I was born with and how that integrates with the universe and my environment, I can see my strengths and weaknesses, my wounds, my different things, but I can work with that once I see what I chose to change that. Okay. We're all connected. Energy does not stop at the end of me. Like when I enter a room, I bring an energy to that. When I enter even into this Zoom, Facebook room, right? We all bring an energy to that. We are all connected. And so by taking responsibility for your energy and making it better, we can make the world better. Okay? So energy is magnetic. Energy attracts or repels. Our thoughts control our energy. And so what thoughts do you, so Feng Shui affects that, but also the people you hang around with, the behaviors that you choose to do during the day, the foods that you eat. So choosing to be calm and balanced and behaviors and things that make that will attract more of that into your life. And so that's why metaphysics is, if you understand energy and work with it, it is so powerful, okay? So let's talk about what's coming, right? Metal Tiger Month, Metal Ox Year. Year first. For centuries, predictions have been made by looking at the overall chart of the year. We look at the balance and the predominance of the elements and their interactions in relationship to what we call the day. So there's a year, the month, the day, and the hour. And like, for instance, this is Metal Ox Year, Metal Tiger Day, and I believe today is, I'm not actually sure, I think it's Water Dragon Day, okay? And so then we can use that's a blueprint. It tells me information. Hello, people, as you come on board, nice to see you. Thank you for joining me, okay? And so the metal ox year is an image, and the image of the metal ox, because in the ox's earth is crystals or minerals, and these crystals or minerals are covered by earth. And so the image of the year is like a diamond or precious minerals coming out of the earth. Okay, so that's the message, that's the image of the year. And so the metaphor is there's this new energy coming, but it's like really new. It's a baby. It's like just being born. And just like a baby needs to be cared for and loved to grow and thrive, that's actually the energy of this year. It is our responsibility to take this energy and to actually nurture it to create something out of it. Otherwise, it won't become something beautiful. New babies are helpless and totally dependent on the care and love given to them, whether they thrive or not. And so I think the message there for all of us is to set some goals and dreams and nurture them, but to also nurture ourselves and love others throughout the process, because we are all connected. Overall, by the nature of how the chart looks like, people will feel calmer. Okay, for many of us, it'll be an easier year. Now, feeling calmer doesn't necessarily mean richer. It just means that we're seeing the lesson, and we're starting to work into the lesson, and we're starting to get it, what this is meaning, okay? And so some of the panic and overall fear is gone, right? Because everything happens for you, not to you. This really is an opportunity. And so overall, the energy of fire is weak, and fire is the element that brings happiness. And so, yes, the chart is considered cold, and the earth element is not stable. So the virus is not going away. You don't need to be a psychic or an astrologer to, hear that. Not immediately. It's going down. It will improve. There might be a third wave. And yes, eventually it'll be gone. But, it's the indication of the chart shows that it's still here for a bit. However, the fire being weak in the chart is an indication to all of us we need to find ways to create happiness, because the universe isn't necessarily just going to bring it to us. It's not like, some years, usually personal growth and spiritual growth doesn't happen unless we hit a wall, unless we hit without suffering. And so there still is some of that going on where we have to actually look for happiness, create happiness. So how can you do that? What kind of things can you do to bring happiness into your life? Who do you need to connect with? Part of that is getting rid of what's not serving you, what's not making you happy. And for many, this started last year already. It's like the time is now to choose the jobs or the direction to get the job that you want. And if to get that job means you have to get more education, to choose the friendships that you want, to choose the behaviors that make you happy, the people. Now, maybe you can't move out of your house today, but it's also being part of the solution towards like starting to make those plans. This is very, very important, okay? So the image of the day pillar in this chart is water horse. This is for the year. And the highest potential for this year of energy is healing spa waters. The lower image of the year, the potential is repressed anger coming out. Okay, so what do you want? Do you want to be resentful and angry in your environment and not take responsibility and be a victim? Or do you want to look at what's happening in front of you and realize where do you need to make changes in your life so that 2-3 years from now you can look back and go, that was the best thing that happened because it created the changes in my life that brought me to happiness. It brought healing. Where in your life do you need healing and what do you need to do? So does that, and some of this isn't even difficult, right? It's exercise, it's eating properly, it's being the person you want to be in conversations, right? Because you get what you give. And so when I look at the big picture of all the planets and the shifts, we are being given the opportunity now and for years to come to heal what is inside of us and what needs to be healed. And it's bringing to the surface what we're not dealing with. So in the ox, it's considered a graveyard animal. And so what that actually means, doesn't have to do with a lot of deaths. That's not the thing that's going on. There's inside the ox is earth, metal, and water. And earth is the predominant element, but metal and water are very strong. And when they get clashed, it's like they get released. And when they get released, it brings to the surface for any of us, whatever aspects of our life we're not dealing with. And so partly it's like a year of unfinished business. If you want to get a deeper, my talk that I did in December, which is now on my website and available for sale to buy. If you missed it, it's a full day talk where I go in depth with the interactions of the predictions of the year and plus in-depth astrology and that, because there's just not enough time here to go into all of that, okay? So this year is easier for people who embrace a shift, okay, and are prepared to let go of what's not serving them. Because if you're not prepared to let go of what's not serving you, your higher self is bringing it to you regardless. And so nothing is permanent, right? And so be prepared also to deal with your inner child issues that you project out into the world, okay? So how you deal with problems. Do you see something as somebody else's fault, or do you actually aware through the work that you do, like personal growth work, that everything is a projection? And your chart shows you where the wound is. Like this is a lot of the work I do in my readings with people is what did you not deal with your father? What did you not deal with your mother? Because we're not victims to that. We actually choose as souls these people in our lives to bring healing so that we can go into the next lifetimes at a higher vibration, or even in this lifetime that we can go, have a higher vibration. We are in Earth School. Everything is an opportunity. If you're suffering, it's because you're not seeing this as something that you're taking responsibility for. So one of the most interesting things that's opened up for me this year in my knowledge of reading charts is how to see lessons in karma and opportunities. Dr. Lily Chung, whom I studied with for more than 10 years, before I started studying with Joey Yap for 10 years, because I've been studying and doing this stuff for a long time, when she first looked at my chart, she said to me, "Your parents are useless." And I was like, well, first thought was, well, in a way it was factual because they gave me away. I'm adopted. And I didn't see it as a victim statement. I just thought, okay, how do you see that? The second question, though, is, am I a victim or is that an opportunity? Why would my soul have chosen that so that I could learn lessons, right? And so I see now that the person I am today is, I would never understand how connected we actually are to our ancestors and our genetics, even when you don't spend a lot of time with them, and how energy works, if those circumstances hadn't happened for me. And I would never have been so curious to learn about who I am and about metaphysics if that hadn't happened to me. So that whole journey created me, and I'm actually so grateful to those souls, right? And so one of my greatest teachers in personal growth says, it's never too late to have a good childhood. And so it's all perspective, right? The second you become curious, instead of having anger or fear, your entire energy system changes and life becomes a ride. You are always protected if you actually learn how to work with it. Okay, back to the year of the metal ox. As souls, we signed up to be here at one of the most exciting times in history. We are shifting into new ages, no matter what systems you're looking at. Whether you want to call it the age of Aquarius or shifting into age 9, we are in the midst of a collective shift that is forcing us to wake up and look at our lives and look at the world we've created and to take responsibility for that part. The only energy ultimately I can change is my own. It's not if my son became and called me more often. It's not if my daughter did the dishes more often. It's actually what inside me do I need to take responsibility for. Happiness is actually my job. So how many of you think that if something outside of you changes, you'll be happy? Manifesting has in many ways become easier, and I'm a great manifester. I tell you, for years, like, there's a benefit now to being in my 60s, okay? But for years it was like, oh, if my husband stopped doing this, or if I had a bigger house, or if I had a better car, or if I made this much money, I'll be happy. And then every time I'd get one of those things happening, and I'm not saying they don't help, they do help, and they're all important, okay? But I realized that each time, then the next thing popped up, right? And so then I started to actually realize, okay, happiness is more than just having stuff, right? And so the energy of the rat with the lockdown and being forced to our distractions, well, there's still some distractions. You could be online, but we couldn't go shopping. We couldn't go to restaurants, not in the same way. That's shifted, right? It's like, oh, okay, what's being reflected in my life? What's going on? Hello, Lourdes. Hello, everybody that's joining me later. So the ox is earth, and with metal is combined to make what we call a sentimental combination, versus being a broken pillar. People will feel overall more comfortable. The element that's needed to bring balance to the overall chart is wood. So wood relates to growth, okay, learning and kindness. So the short story of what can you do to make 2021 a better year is to do anything related with wood and fire. Fire is passion, transformation, happiness, okay? But growth, learning, and kindness. The other thing is any business that isn't aligned with integrity and true values will not do well. Meaning, if you have a good idea of what you're here to offer and it's along the lines of growth, transformation, kindness, and inspiration, those businesses will all do well. And you can offer that with food. You can offer that with just a service delivery. You can offer, like, even if you're an industry that is seen by the elements to not be so strong this year, if you have good core values of offering service, you will actually do well, okay? So manifesting is easier, but you actually have to be attuned to decent values in order to actually be good at, to have manifesting at its greatest potential for this year. 2021, it adds up to number 5. And so the tarot card for this year is the Hierophant. All 5s deal with change, okay? So this is another indication of what's coming. So 5 represents breaking free from stability and some kinds of challenges. So this is a great year for innovation and transformation, breaking free from old rules that govern your life. Yes, change is never comfortable. Things need to break down. That's shown in all the astrology systems. And the key words here are reform and reformation, okay? And dealing with loss and creating new growth, okay? So the Hierophant card in most tarot decks shows a religious figure appearing to give two people spiritual instructions. And the message for us in this is, are we listening to our divine guidance? Do we spend time to meditate and connect to our higher self, or to listen to the inspiration of our higher sources? And so, and being a teacher, because we are all actually in our everyday lives examples of teaching. What is it we're giving? Do we embody and live truth, right? No more blaming people. Own your actions and live your life and take responsibility. That's the key, okay? Now, Metal Tiger Month. Like, it's so much information. I wish, I could talk all day about how all the different potentials are going on. And so I'm just trying to give you a smattering with key hits. Metal Tiger Month, first month of the year, okay? The wood chi is very strong. Spring is in the air, new growth, new possibilities. And the image of the metal tiger is an axe chopping wood. Hands-on hard work is the key, okay? So you want things to change? Get moving, all right? Stop waiting, take action. Don't just make a plan. Just don't think, don't wait. Do some stuff this month. Get going. Even if it's snowy and even if it's all these things, you can make calls, you can delete the stuff on your Facebook and on your computer that's not serving you. You can do your bookkeeping. There's tons of opportunities always. So what the opportunities for each month and year are depends a little bit further if you know what your day master is and what your different animals are. And so I know that all of you love the predictions, and so I'm going to do some very general predictions here, okay? But please know that they are general, and if you want an in-depth look at who you are, you need to get a reading, because in your chart there is the year, the month, the day, and the hour, and the 5 elements together in each of those have a strength and a weakness depending on the season you're born in. And each of those elements represents different things like wealth, children, parents, education, And when you understand this year being predominantly metal, earth, and water, how that works with you, then you can be in flow. Okay, and if you understand what we call the stars. So if you know what your day master is, this is a little bit advanced maybe for some of you, 2021 for metal people, okay, is generally an opportunity to network and work with others, okay? To reframe how you look at things, to develop a new perspective, and to not work alone, do joint ventures, but also to help others. If you are metal, and there's a lot of metal this year, you should be connecting and working with others. Find win-win solutions, okay? If you are a water day master, the energy opportunity for water day masters is to take action, as there might be a tendency to overthink and procrastinate. Figure out new ways to do things, learn something new, become better at what you do. Some friendships may change. This is good. You have a chance to move into different social circles. Be in charge of that, because there'll be people saying, oh, come out for dinner. Think about this. Going out for dinner costs money. Now, if you have the money to spend, great. But if you don't, are you paying for dinner for the other people? Are they paying for you? What activities do you actually need to do to get ahead? So water people, decide who lifts you up, who helps you, and who do you need to help? Who do you need to help to be better? Energy is never a one-way street. What you give, you will get ultimately back. Wood day masters, okay? And so I'm going to get into the animals too, but right now we're just in the day masters, if you understand what that is, okay? There will be a lot of wealth opportunities for you this year, but if you really want to capitalize on them, you need to become a better you. You need to be smarter. You need to be a more resourceful person. And so it's a great year to develop a 3 to 4 year strategy and plan to where you're going, the more self-discipline you bring into your life in regards to becoming better, the greater rewards you will get. Okay, one of my teachers would say 10 times 0 is 0, right? So if you do 0 action, nothing's going to happen. You gotta get moving. You gotta do change, right? And some of that might be process work, right? Like, because we all have mind loops in our heads that say how the brain works. I digress here slightly. When you are born, there are neural pathways being formed, millions over the first few years, like millions and millions of them. And these neural pathways create behavior patterns, right? Like, and so it might be fear, might be worry, might be, you know, some different kinds of ones. And then by the time we're 6, there's some very strong loops happening in our brain. And those loops might be, I'm not enough, or life is hard, or I'm being lazy, you know, or mom will do that for me, whatever. People will take care of stuff. Well, have you ever noticed that the same type of situations repeat and repeat and repeat? Well, that's because your brain loops and are your law of attraction that are actually creating them. So you can do EFT, you can do Psych K, you can do breath work, you can get counseling. There's many different modalities that you can work with out there to change how your brain works, to look at how you process things, to become, you can do a Tony Robbins workshop, right? Very popular with lots of metaphysics. You know, like I've done all those things because I have brain loops that are, I have to do it by myself, or I can't get good help, or the world is not safe. And so if I believe that the world is not safe, I will continue by law of attraction to bring a situation into my life to prove that, right? Somebody will be angry on the street. Somebody will honk at me. Whereas actually, I'm creating it because that's my subconscious belief. Over the years with doing Feng Shui, what I saw as I looked at flying star maps, like remember 80% of our thinking is subconscious. People's homes reflect our subconscious thinking. And so part of life here, and that's what's happening with COVID and all these things, is learning to bring to the forefront our subconscious thinking. And this is a huge topic that I talk about more in my in-depth classes, right? Because our ancestral genetics gives us patterns in that. And so, but the great thing about metaphysics is when we set a goal to, I want to be happier and I want to make more money, or I want to have support, we can use the house, we can use time, and we can override by consciousness our thoughts and start creating change. It is truly possible. Okay, if you are a wood day master, create a 3 to 4 year strategy, right? On where you're going. Lots of wealth opportunities coming to you, and take advantage of them. Fire day masters, money opportunities also abound, okay? But this is the year to find out what actually really makes you happy and what gives you passion, and to work and move your life in that direction. Okay, so yes, your investment should do well, and different, you should be able to get a job and all those types of things, but actually spend some time this year looking at, if you know, what is it that actually makes you happy, and take some steps into that direction. Earth people, okay, Earth Day Masters, time to write a new story. We all have an old story. What would you like to be? Okay, so remember I said it's never too late to have a happy childhood? That's the past. You can look at your parents and that whole situation with gratitude to creating you to who you are today. Because guess what? You as a soul chose it. As souls before we're born, we choose the moments we're born and the people we're born to, so that we can work out these lessons together, so that we can raise our vibrations, that we can choose to see with love and compassion instead of fear and separation. So Earth people, this is your year to get rid of the complaints, to get rid of what's holding you back, to be creative, and to actually go, what do you want, and to take responsibility for those actions. Okay, now this is very, very general now as we get into the 12 animals. The rat for 2021, okay, key focus, upgrade your self-knowledge, focus on the right connections, and explore new opportunities, okay? I've made it really short and sweet for each of you. Ox, Challenge yourself to be better. Manage your behavior. There will be pressure and work, but if you can improve your skills, this will be a year where you will actually get recognized for that. If you don't improve your skills, you will get recognized for that, okay? So this is a year where your initiatives, either way, will be rewarded. Tiger, lots of positive energy for you this year to make new connections and expand out of your current comfort zone. The people in your life reflect your life. There's a saying, the top 5 people you hang out with reflect your life. Choose carefully. Do they lift you up? I mean, it's better to be the least smart person in the room and learn than to be the one that everybody thinks you're so great. There's nothing to learn there, right? Like, okay. So go hang out with better people. This is a great year to learn from others that are better than you. Learn to listen and develop those relationships. Decide what you want to achieve this year and go look for the people who can help you get that. Rabbit. The rabbit this year has the opportunity to work on their emotions and attitude. The law of attraction works with us all. If you see life as being a victim, you'll get more of that. But if you see life as an opportunity to learn from and are curious, that's like the best thing to do instead of fear, because rabbit can be a bit fear. It's like, just be curious, right? It's like, okay, what's the opportunity? Your whole energy, your heart opens then, okay? There's potential. This is a year where you need to make your own luck. We all have those years. It doesn't mean it's going to be a bad year. It just means you have to make your own luck. So you can do that. Don't compare yourself with others. Build connections with people that lift you up. As my one teacher would say, be pleasing, right? You can do that. Be someone that, and this isn't being a liar or insincere or all those things, but if you're someone who gets up and helps people get their coffee, does the dishes more, does all those types of things, you'll get rewarded. You have to make your luck. Dragon, do not overcommit. Communicate clearly and effectively. You have the energy this year to find solutions. Be the solution for others. To generate new ideas, remaking money for yourself or others. Be the solution for others. You will actually make money by doing this. There's a good wealth star there, but it actually comes by you helping others, all right? Snake. There is an opportunity to gain in power and authority this year. You'll be asked to step up, to make decisions, to have more responsibility. This may go to your head. Remember not to gossip and manage your hastiness. Yes, very likely you will make more money this year. Remember not to be careless with it, to value it and to put some away. Horse, easier year after last year. The rat was a clash to you. So there were some unexpected things that happened. Okay, but this year you have some very good influences and stars. Your greatest success, though, will come from short-term goals. People will want to work with you and be with you. You have very strong popularity stars and nobleman stars. It's very good for sales and expanding your network. And I expect that you're going to have more fun, all right? Just beware of expecting those near you to do exactly what you want, right? Good communication is really important. There will be some, those closest to you may let you down. Now, it's not a serious thing because you've got really positive stars, but communication is important to avoid miscommunication. The goat. Okay, what's your 12-year plan? Okay, and what needs to change to make that happen? Manage your emotions. Work within a budget and face and deal with what needs to change in your life. This is the year of dealing with unfinished business, okay? And so the goat clashes with the ox. And so this is a year that there's some unexpected changes coming. No problem. Yeah, you can handle this and do this. However, if we don't have an eye on a bit of the direction we're headed, we get distracted and all this and caught up. and become part of the problem, right? And this is just seeing the long-term goal, right? And this is hence, where do you see yourself going? Unfinished business in the areas of your life that you have not dealt with will likely surface for you more than perhaps the other animals. In where, like, where are you, like, could it be finances, could be spiritual, could be physical, could be with family members, right? What do you need to deal with that you're putting off, right? Monkey is very lucky this year, okay? Don't waste it. Set clear and doable goals in the various areas of your life and get to work. The universe supports you in finding the right people, the right mentors, the right resources to make plans come true. So, we have 4 pillars, right? I'm talking, and if you're brand new to this, you're thinking that this is just your year, but you could have any of these animals that I'm talking about in your month, your day, or your hour. And so look to each of those, because each of those represents different areas of your life. You have the resources needed, monkey, to make plans come true. You can come out on top. If you know how to activate, this is actually true for everybody, if you know a little bit about Feng Shui and how to do it, activate the monkey sector of your home in 2021. It's a very good energy sector. Rooster. Money, power, and greater relationships are all possibilities for you this year. Be sure you have the substance and are worth attracting them, okay? Seize opportunities and greater responsibilities. Focus on increasing your investments. You will be popular. Be popular for the right thing, okay? Dog, 2 left. Dog has very good stars this year. 2021 also comes with opportunities. There's a couple that actually indicate happiness. So the dog overall, even though the ox can have a bit of what we call a bully penalty, there'll be some pressure, some things that you're going to have to work on in your life, but overall you're going to feel pretty good. Now ask yourself, what makes you happy? There's going to be, but what do you need to do to make, like, if you could look back at the end of the year and go, wow, that was a great year, you actually have the energy here to make that happen, okay? And so it's a good year to work on your emotions, right? Like, what aspects of your personality do you need to tweak a bit? Because this could be long-term changes that take place then for you. You can learn this year to become an overall more positive person. One of the simplest things that I just love that I got reminded of last week was, with every breath, when we're conscious, we can breathe in positivity and breathe out negativity. And so, for instance, if you're eating food that makes you feel guilty and you're not conscious, you're breathing in guilt. So but you can eat a food and decide, okay, I need a treat, and actually tell yourself that I accept myself for doing this. But if we're not conscious, actually with every single breath, whatever the thought is that's in our head, that's what we're breathing into our consciousness. So what is it you choose? We can actually, so spending a little bit of time in meditation, just choosing to breathe in connection, love, clarity, opportunities, optimism, right? And breathing out the blocks that prevent that, right? It's just simple. Okay, a good attitude for the dog. So learn to develop a good attitude will turn into making more money, or being more appreciated. Okay, now this is true for all of us, but the dog has some extra luck there. The pig. I love the pig in general. Okay, some people go, oh, I'm a pig, you don't like that. But you know what? You are some of the most interesting and gentle and yet intelligent and kind people in giving. The opportunity for you this year is to make money by expanding your network to out of the city or out of the country. To actually, you're going to be busy this year. You're going to be actually, and if you consciously choose to make that busyness into something that expands you to being better, it'll turn into something that you look good and go, wow, I did something with that. If you're not conscious of how to use that busyness, you'll just be running around doing errands for other people who ask you to do stuff. So this is up to you. It's a great year in business, or to build your networks with people outside of your current reach, okay? Larger markets, out of country, out of city, do that, right? Get to know people. Even if you don't have now a business or a thing that's growing, like even if you're a spiritual student, join a group in another country. If you have a business, look at expanding your sales, okay? All right. So as we move into the new year, and into a new age, the age of Aquarius, we move into spirituality, expansion of consciousness, and for many, a kinder humanity. We are moving into the goddess age. Is this going to happen overnight? No, this is happening over the next few years. The patriarchy is collapsing in front of our eyes, and women are rising in power. Now, women, take responsibility in a kind way for the energy that you put out in the world. Now, this doesn't mean in a way that's not truthful and without integrity, right? But as we move into this age, come from your heart, right? And be the person that you want to have in your life. Nurture and be filled with grace. So what did you learn in 2020 and in the year of the rat, past year? Were you part of the solution or are you part of the problem? This is a really important question to continue asking yourself as we go through these next few months. Does the energy you bring into the world unite or divide? If you're complaining all the time, you are dividing. If you're pointing fingers, you are dividing. I used to say to people, I was the president of Little League in this city and in the province and in Canada for many years ago. And I just used to say to some people, you can't bitch if you don't vote. Right? Because we're all volunteers. We were all volunteers doing things. And it's like, you're telling us we're doing it wrong. Come help us. Right? So are you part of the solution? And what can you do to be part of the solution? Can you be filled with grace and compassion during these times? And can you mind your own business and do activities that are support unity? Okay, this is so important. You're all here because you're talking about astrology and Feng Shui. It's not just one way. Be part of the solution. Do you know what I've learned too by some of my greatest teachers recently who have studied Feng Shui? Some of my teachers have don't practice Feng Shui so much. You know why? Because when you upgrade yourself to a higher consciousness, the land calls you. You don't even need to know how to look for good Feng Shui. It finds you. When you have a heart that comes from grace and compassion, I have found this in my own experience when I go to the homes of people that are what I would look at as really good people who give to society and have values that I really appreciate. They had excellent Feng Shui and they didn't even choose it, right? The people who are complainers and whiners and lazy and have excuses usually have bad Feng Shui, but part of it is their story. So now's the time to change the story. Okay, here are the questions to ask yourself, all of us. What is the future you wish to create? So all that is not heart connected will have a rocky ride the next 2 to 3 years. We are in the birthing canal still. This baby has just come out of the ground, this new baby out of the earth, right? And so self-honesty is very important. Your goals will only work if you are honest with yourself. How committed are you to your life? Do you think if someone else changes, then I will be happy? So you open yourself to receiving by letting go what it is you don't want and making room in your life. Now, this is really important too, because February 12th, I mean, it's a little bit mixed up this year, but you still have time to sort of really do a good clean of your home and to get rid of what's not serving you and part of your virtue. The law of reciprocity also requires that you feel worthy of what you want. Okay, so if you're listening to me, you are on some level looking for an awakening, but you're looking for like-minded people and tools to support yourself. Okay, so who are you? What is unique to you? Surround yourself with like-minded people. All right, now flying stars, the last little bit. I don't get in depth with this because I actually think in order to do, a student even asked me this week, because we get flying stars is one of the methods of Feng Shui to look at a house. And there's 8 mansions and there's formula, and then there's what we call forms. And the forms are what you literally see. It is the land. Qi actually comes from mountains. Okay, it comes from the relationship of mountains to water, higher space to lower space. And when they all have different shapes, they all have different qualities. And when they're in different locations, they all also exude different properties. And the most strongest parts of Feng Shui are actually learning how to read forms. Okay, we call it forms. And this is some of the stuff. This takes time. Like, so I teach, and this is the time actually for those of you that might be thinking of learning Feng Shui. For me, I teach that the first 2 modules are now online, but then in July, there's a live online and in-person part. You can do this internationally, which takes us to the advanced levels. To really learn all this stuff is a year's program, okay? And so now is the time if you're thinking of learning more to start. And I'm one of the few teachers that I still keep my classes small, and we do individual mentoring with people to help them get it, because it's not that easy. But just doing flying stars, which I'm going to tell you what are the best sectors right now, is triggered by what we call the forms. Okay, and I can't teach you forms online in this short of time, right? But learning how to read mountains. And so I can say to you that for 2021, and this is what's true by formula, the best sectors are west, northeast, and south. Okay, these are the best sectors. So if you know how to read that, spend the most time in those sectors. Okay, this month, the best sectors, if we add an overall layer, are northeast and north and northwest. Okay, so we've got some extra layers there. So, but overall, northeast is still very, very good. And guess what? What sector am I sitting in? I'm sitting in the northeast here. All right, but that also relates very personally to my chart. So regardless, okay, if you know the sectors and you know flying stars and you know that stuff, it's clean your bedroom, okay? Clean your bedroom. Get ready for this, and to welcome in this new energy. Actually, and up on YouTube now is I did a free video, rituals, predictions, how to get ready for Chinese New Year's, and it's up on YouTube now. So go check it out, all right? Because there's dates there to start cleaning and some of the different things you can do. And actually the rituals around Chinese New Year's are beautiful, right? How to celebrate and foods to eat and the meaning of them and all that stuff. It's like really fun. So get ready, right? Get ready to bring in a new year. Take responsibility for who you are. Join me and others in groups where you bring in energy and responsibility to making the world a better place. Are you ready to live a better life? Are you ready to take responsibility? Ask yourself what you don't want, and then make room for, new things, what you do want, okay? Every moment of our lives, we are making decisions. What is it you're choosing, okay? Are you choosing to be the highest representation of yourself? Are you choosing to be an irresistible magnet for all that is good? Okay, are you choosing growth in life? So I thank you for spending time with me. If you have some questions here, I'm happy to answer them. Join me again next month. My Facebook Lives are going to go to the second Sunday of every month, starting in March. My story for 2021, I want to wake up happy. I want to have stronger connections. I want to have people that I can love and be loved back with, right? I'm looking for connection, and every day I do gratitudes, and every day I do intentions, and every day I do connect with the people that I love and care for. Remember the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them to do to you. Remember to breathe in consciously. Be kind and grateful and authentically you. Love and light always. Okay, thank you very, very much. And so I'm happy to answer some questions. All right, Izzy, thank you so much. February 11th is a big day, lots of planets in Aquarius. It's also Chinese New Year's Eve. So it's a great day to, well, actually the Chinese would that night celebrate with family, right? It's a day of gratitude. It's a day that night of actually really being grateful for all the things that you have in life, and having the house and everything ready to welcome in the new. All right, it's a day to celebrate. Eliana, tiger, dragon, and monkey. Very, very good. Nice. You have some great animals there. Sharon, thank you. My pleasure to be here with you. Melanie, nice to see you. You're very welcome. Larry, I've segmented my living arrangements. I have a blueprint map of my property, and in the southeast, I understand that as a cure to place silver in that area. And as a monkey, I'm trying to figure out what days and times off. I actually, there's a lot of misinformation out there on that. Some teachers would say just place metal, right? Like just put metal there. I mean, you know, a very famous teacher is actually saying that right now. But past that, and I think actually to place the silver there in the southeast, there's a saying, God protects drunks and fools. And I think that if your intention is to, if you're not a full practitioner and getting a full consultation, like when you know more, you have to be more responsible for it. And so I'm actually just going to say to you, put it there. Like, if you know a little bit about date selection, then do that. But I don't want to actually give you dates specifically, because without having a floor plan and a blueprint and looking at it that way, it's if you're better off to just put in the silver. Yeah, hopefully it's a quite a large amount of silver, the weight, like a pound or two, or else I would get some weights and add some weights, to it as well. And you know what? The southeast is only necessary to take care of if this is a front door or a room you use a lot. Okay, if you're not using it, don't worry about it. If this is your bathroom, like even a bathroom, I wouldn't do a metal cure in the bathroom. Yeah, okay, yeah. Marita, hello, you're welcome. A large vase, is it heavy? Joey App has never taught to use a saltwater cure. I've studied with him for 10 years, taken the Feng Shui course 3 times, and you'll notice in his videos as well, he never, ever says use the salt cure. That is not a Joey App thing. It is your bedroom. Is my front door still the best to use? Harriet, we should talk separately, okay? Because I'm not exactly sure, but I'm happy. Let's talk in the next few days. Hello, Laura. Thank you. Yeah, if it's heavy, great. I would just place it, Larry. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you all very much. I wish you all a wonderful Sunday, and nice to see here and be with you. And Harriet, I'm actually going to call you and let's talk in 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Goodbye, everybody.